Okay, I'm going to talk about Peer Assignment 7, which is really complex. It involves everything we've kind of learned so far. It's going to involve breaking things up into functions. It's going to involve loops, while loops, and ifs. It'll have all the elements that we've covered in class so far. I've already started with the comments. So this describes what the program's going to do. And then I broke it up into steps because each step is going to be a method. We're going to get a random number. We're going to loop for 10 times and we'll get the user's guess. We'll determine if it's too high or too low or correct, and we'll adjust the player's score. We'll display the player's score, add the score to the list of scores, ask the player if they want to play again, and if yes, to start a new game. But if no, you show the average of their scores and quit. Alright, so one of the first things that we need is to be able to get a random number. And to do that, I need to actually import from random. So I'm going to do from random, and random is a built-in library. I am going to import rand range, and this will be what we will use to get a random number. We haven't imported much, but there are a whole bunch of libraries out there that you can import. I am also going to do a little bit of an introduction, so I'll actually comment that. So what I'll do is I'll do def intro, and what we'll do is we'll just real quickly say what this program does. So I'm going to do print. This program is a simple guessing game. And I could do another print statement, or I could do this to break the line there. That breaks the line in the output, not here. And then I could go the program will generate a actually I think I want to do the prints just to keep it on screen. But you can use that dash in to break a line. It will generate a random number. So between 1 and 1,000. Okay, and then we'll say that you get 10 guesses. And then that the program will tell you I'll just say the game if the guess is too high, too low, or correct. Each time you play is worth 10 points. Each wrong guess subtracts a point. Okay, that's good enough for an intro. So let's do to get the random number. So I'm going to do def get random. You can name this whatever you want, of course. So we're breaking this up into methods, remember. So each thing will be its own thing. We imported random, but we still have to actually use it to create a random number. So I am going to say number equals rand range, which is what we imported. And I'm going to give it between 1 and 1001. Why 1001? Because it doesn't include the ends, so you need to have that. All right, and I'm going to bring this up a little. Then we will return number. So we'll get the random number. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is get the user's guess. Remember, these don't run until they get called. Just the fact that I'm writing them doesn't make them happen yet. But I'm going to say get user guess. And what I'm going to say is I'm just going to say guess equals int input enter a guess between 1 and 1000. Let's leave a space there. 2. And then I'm going to return their guess. We'll use it when we play the game. Now, I am going to do an evaluation because we need to evaluate whether it's less than, greater than, or equal to when the guess is equal to the random number. So I'm going to say def evaluate guess. And I'm actually going to pass it the number and the guess. Okay. And I'm going to create a little variable here. This took me a while to figure out. This is just a variable that I can allow us to escape a loop, because we're not going to loop inside of here, but later we're going to have to. And I want to be able to escape the loop if the guess is correct. And I'm going to say 0 for not being correct. So if guess is greater than number, right? So if it's greater than number, we will print your guess is too large. Or let's just do guess is too high. And then we'll do elif guess is less than number, print having trouble typing. Guess is too low. Might move that back over a little. And then I am going to do else. Because an else is, again, never takes an argument. And the else is only one possibility remains, is that it's equal. So we're going to say print congratulations. You got it. And I am going to change the state to is equal to 1. And we want to return the state. All right. You could, if you wanted, assign these to a variable and only have a single print statement down here. But we'll leave it the way it is. So that evaluates the guess. Now, what we need to do is I am going to play the game. So we've gotten our random number, we've got the use, we're comparing it. Now I'm going to play the game. And I'm going to say, we're going to create a variable, we'll call it choice. And I'm going to say that it is equal to y. And this is going to be the default, is that you're going to play again. So basically anything other than y, and you will quit. So I'm going to say while choice equal y. Okay, and then we do a colon because it's the beginning of a loop. Actually, let's redo that. I'm getting ahead of myself. For this, we just want to say, we want to get the number, right? We want to get number equals get random. And again, this doesn't have to be number. It could just be in or num. But we're calling the get random, and we're getting the number that it's returning. And then we are going to set our score. Score equals 10. And then I am going to do a for loop where we loop 10 times for I in range 10. Actually, I do. This I've played with a lot. That should be a comma, not a... It is difficult to get the score quite right. And I'm not sure that this does either. But we're going to let it go for now. This is what I'm going to do. So we're going to get the guess, and this is inside the loop. Guess equals get guess. So you'll be asked to get the guess 10 times. And then it returns a state, remember? So state equals the evaluate guess. And when we evaluate the guess, we need to pass it the number and the guess. Okay, so we're evaluating it there. Now we're going to check to see what we get returned. If state is equal to 1, it's done, right? We'll break out of the loop. Otherwise, we're going to just subtract the score. So I'm going to say score equals score minus 1. And then we are going to, outside of the for, we're going to return the score. So we're going to loop, we're going to give him 10 guesses. We start with 10. Each incorrect score will be minus 1 unless the state says that it matched, and then we will break out of the loop. All right. So I'm going to do a def game, basically. I don't know if this is what we want to name it, but I'll call it that. So in this is where we do the loop. So I'm going to say choice equals yes. And then I'm going to say this, we're going to create an array of scores. And then we're going to say while choice equals, double equals here. Double equals for when you're actually testing to see if it is equal to something. Score equals play. So this will return the score from up above. And then we are going to print that. We're also going to add this to the scores array. So all of the scores will be in the score array. And then we are going to ask, do you still want to play? Okay, so play another game. Y to continue. Okay. And then we're going to do choice, and we're going to lower it so that it'll always be lowercase y. And then that will be this one. So we set up the choice to be y initially. We set up an array of scores, empty an array. And then while the choice is equal to y, we keep looping. And at the end of each game, this only happens at the end of the game, then we will ask if they want to continue, yes or no. Okay. So we also want to get the average score. We want to return scores. That's one last thing we want to do, so that we can use it at the end. Okay, so we're going to do another one where we get the average. So get average scores. And we're going to pass it the scores. And then we're going to loop. We're going to say that total equals 0. And we're going to loop for item in scores. Total plus equals item. And then outside, so this needs to have a colon. This needs to be indented. Then we come back here and we'll do average equals total divided by length of scores, so how many there were. And then we return the average. So we've done every little thing, right? We get the random number. We get the user's guess. We evaluate the guess. In the play of the game, we get that random number. We loop through the guesses and assign the scores. When the game is over, we say what the score was. We append the score to an array of scores because that's how we get the average. And we ask if they want to play another game. This is when they end. We will want the average score before they depart. And then this is just to print the average. And I'm going to put the average here, and I'm going to say print your average score was. Okay, so we're almost done. The last part of this is the main. So I'm going to do def main. So this will be the starting point. This is where we actually call everything that we want to do in the order. So first thing we'll do is send the intro. So we'll show the intro. The next thing we'll do is we'll play the game. So I'm going to do scores game. Is that right? Scores game. Yes. Scores equals game, because game calls play. And then I want to do the average. Average equals get average scores. And we'll pass it the scores. And then we'll do the print. So we want to do print average, and we want to pass it to average. And I think that is it, except for actually calling the main. All right, let's save all of this and then see if it actually runs without too much error. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it guessing game, except that I want it to be in my Python files. All right, so I'm going to save that. We're going to try to run it. All right, it doesn't like intro. Oh, it's because I spelled it wrong. Going to save it. Going to try to run again. Okay. Now it doesn't like. Get guess is not defined. Get user guess. Okay, so I save that again. I'm going to kill this, and then we'll run this. Okay. Enter a guess between 1,000. So I'm going to do 500. Now we have an error. Name guess is not defined. Where is guess not defined? Guess equals user guess. Line 4 in user guess. I did quests. Alright. Lots of typos. I'm going to kill this again just because it's a pain to have. So I'm going to run module. I'm going to do 500. Now what? Error guess is not defined. We did that. Guess. 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 $500. The guess is too low. All right, so it's more than that. So I'm going to do 750. So it's between 500 and 750. So let's try 625. It's a little bit too high, too low. So it's between 625 and 750. So let's try just 700. It's too low, so it's between 700 and 750. Let's try 735. All right, so it's between 735 and 750. 740. 745. 747. 748. Okay, so we got it and my score was 2. Alright, so let's play one more time. If I do a Y, it goes back. It's a pain to play, I know. But, so it's too high. So let's go down to 250. Still too high. So let's try 125. So it's between 125 and 250. So let's try 200. So it's between 125 and 200. So I'm going to do 150. It's between 150 and 200, 175, 185. I got it. My score was 4. That was pretty good. So this time I'm not going to continue. And notice my average score was 3, which isn't terrible. Alright, so that's how this thing works. The code is all here. It is also on GitHub, if you really want to look. On GitHub, let's make this bigger. So github.conger, and it's called Python Guessing Game, and the basic program is here also. Alright, so that's peer assignment 7, and I'm going to end the video.